Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me again today on the Finding Hope After Loss podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. If you like the show, please leave a review or rating on Apple or Spotify. It only takes a moment and really helps the show reach more loss and infertility families. Father's Day is coming up in just a couple of weeks. Don't forget the bereaved fathers in your life who are struggling with this day approaching. They may not always want to talk about their feelings. They may feel they have to stay strong for us, but they lost a child too, and they are hurting too. Check in with them to see how they are doing. Ask them what they want to do or not do on Father's Day. Ask them if they want to be recognized or if they would rather just pretend the day didn't exist. There isn't a right or wrong way to approach it. The simple act of asking and talking about what they need is often enough. Today's business spotlight is on bereaved parents cards from Jessie. Here is what she had to say. The bereaved parent conversation card decks were created by Jessie and Nate, a couple who lost their son Matthew on Christmas morning in 2023 as a full-term stillborn. These decks serve as beacons of empathy and understanding in a world often silent in the face of grief. With 4 distinct sets tailored to different needs, they bridge the chasm of communication between bereaved parents and their support network. The first deck, the Bereaved Parent Edition, provides solace and solidarity, offering a safe space for bereaved parents to connect with each other, sharing experiences, memories, and the raw emotions that come with their journey of loss. It becomes a sanctuary where pain is acknowledged and healing begins. In the second deck, the Friends and Family Edition, friends and family members are gently guided through conversations with bereaved parents. Often unsure of what to say or how to offer support, these cards serve as compassionate guides, facilitating meaningful dialogue and fostering understanding between loved ones and those who are grieving. The third deck, the Sibling Edition, recognizes the unique grief experienced by brothers and sisters of angel babies. It gives voice to their emotions, allowing them to explore their feelings about their lost siblings in a safe and nurturing environment, fostering healing and connection within the family unit. Finally, the Mindfulness deck offers a lifeline to grieving mothers, guiding them through moments of mindful reflection and affirmations. In the midst of profound sorrow, these prompts gently encourage self-care and introspection, nurturing resilience and offering moments of peace amidst the storm of grief. Each deck is a testament to the power of empathy and understanding in the face of loss. They provide not only a framework for communication, but also a lifeline of support, reminding bereaved parents that they are not alone on their journey. Jessie and Nate hope that these cards bring hope and connection to other families who have suffered the unimaginable pain of stillbirth. Thank you so much, Jessie, for sharing about your business with us. If you're interested, you can find these cards on their Etsy shop. Today, I am talking with Vanessa. She talks about her journey through infertility, including going through IVF. She then lost her daughter at 22 weeks. Vanessa later started fostering a baby who was born the same day and at the same hospital as her daughter. She shares about her journey through loss and afterwards, and how it feels to have a son the same age her daughter should be. Hello, everyone. Today I am here with Vanessa. Vanessa, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Vanessa. I'm 37 years old. I live in Los Angeles, California. I'm sorry, not Los Angeles, Lancaster. Oh, it's been one of those days. I apologize.
I understand. So, were you born in California?
No, I was born in Maryland, actually. I came over to California when I was about 6 months old.
Okay, so you've lived there most of your life.
Yeah,
Do you like it over there? I haven't really had a chance to go to that part of the country.
I love it. The weather is great. It's just really chill. it's just super expensive. So if I could trade and go somewhere that's not as expensive, I would probably do that.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot about that area, that it's beautiful and nice to live in, but the cost is a lot.
Yes.
So, do you mind sharing a little bit about your loss story?
No, not a problem. Um, my husband and I had, struggles for some time to conceive. So we sought out fertility treatment. We did a couple rounds of IUIs, which was not successful. And then we moved forward with IVF. We did one round. We had got 7 embryos, and unfortunately, only one of the embryos was genetically normal. So we transferred her. I knew it was a girl, and she stuck. So we were excited. We were happy. I had a pretty normal pregnancy. I had a couple scares in the beginning, but after that, it was pretty normal. Um, then one day, I just started feeling like sharp pains in my lower area, and it felt almost like gas. And we went in, and they told us everything was fine, just relax. Okay. The next day, the pain just got worse, and then I started bleeding. So at 21 weeks and almost 22 weeks, I was admitted to the hospital, and they were like, "You're here until you deliver. We need you to at least get to 24 weeks." And at that point, I had like 12 or 13 days to get there. Sadly, at 22 weeks and like 3 days, my daughter was born. Today, actually, today is her actual birthday. So it's been 2 years since she was born and passed. Uh, every day is a struggle. Today is even harder. Um, yeah, so that's my loss in a nutshell.
Oh, yeah, and I always feel like it's so hard to go through infertility and it's so hard to go through loss, but it feels just like doubly unfair to have to go through both.
Yeah, and it's very scary because my husband and I just don't really want to try again because I'm at this point I would be just automatically considered a high risk, and so we're just basking in. We're fostering a baby. Well, his birthday is her birthday as well. He turned 2 today as well. So we're fostering to adopt, hopefully, a baby boy. I keep saying baby, but he's 2
Still a baby,
today.
right?
Yeah, he's still a baby. I'm fostering him to adopt him. I got him at 7 months old. And he's been with me ever since. So that kind of it brings me a little joy, just looking at the world through his eyes and imagining that that could have been my daughter, seeing her turn 2. So it's kind of a mixed feelings. Like it's sad, but it's also happy because I'm seeing this little boy that I basically had from a baby grow right before my eyes.
Yeah, I imagine it's a lot of conflicting feelings, because you see everything that you would miss out on with your daughter, but you're enjoying seeing it when he does it. But it's like you wish you could have both.
Yeah, in reality, yeah, I do. And it just was so crazy when we got the call, and I'm just like, oh, when's his birthday? And they told me. I was just in shock. Like these things just don't happen. Like it's very rare that things like this just get placed with you. So it's just still a shock to this day. I tell people that, and they're like, "Oh my goodness," and I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
"Yeah, I
mean, yeah,
know."
that is just like, I mean, I think more than a coincidence.
Yeah, and he was born in the same hospital as my daughter. and they were born 2 hours apart.
Wow.
So I don't really believe in coincidences like that. I believe he was placed for a reason. So I'm holding on to that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Do you think at all that it was a sign from your daughter?
I think so. I had a good friend tell me that um, your daughter sent you your son. She sent her sibling to you. And it didn't dawn on me until I really just sat in her statement, and I'm just like, maybe that's true. Maybe she sent him to me. Because he came from a pretty not so great situation. So maybe she knew he needed me more.
I love that. I mean, thinking, that he was definitely a sign from her that she's still, showing her influence in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And so today we celebrate both of them. Today I'm trying, it's a hard balance. It's a hard balance to be grieving and sad, but in the same token, be up and ready to go for a 2 year old who's today is his day as well. So it's a hard balance.
Yeah, that I can definitely see how that would be hard because you want to, you know, because you're obviously sad and grieving still, but a 2-year-old definitely kind of understands what a birthday is and wants to, celebrate.
Yeah. And he lets me know every minute. So
Do you ever talk about your daughter? I mean, I know he's still young, but have you talked about her to him?
no, not necessarily really, because he's a little delayed. Um so I don't think he would quite understand or grasp it, even if I tried.
Mm.
Um, I think if once he gets a little bit older, I would, have the conversation with him to let him know that, I believe that she sent you to me. Um, and I want him to know that, he has someone else looking after him.
Did they ever find a reason why you went into early labor?
Um, they were saying I might have had an incompetent cervix. When I did the anatomy scan, she was kind of, they didn't really get a chance to look at the cervix at 20 weeks. I think I was like, oh yeah, 20 weeks is when I did my anatomy scan, and they didn't say anything wrong at that point. Um, I just wish that when I went in the first time to the emergency room, they did more of a thorough check. Maybe we could have prevented it. Maybe they could have done a cerclage at that point. Because they offered it to me when I was admitted, but at that point I was already dilated, and the the risk to me was just not worth it to try. And it just didn't seem worth it to try it. I just wish that they were a little more thorough the first time I went in. Maybe we could have caught it. Maybe we could have, like I said, could have done a cerclage. Maybe we could have been admitted, and maybe they could have given me medication. I don't know. There's a lot of wishes that I wish would have happened.
Do you feel like they just didn't listen to you or that they just weren't, thorough
I
enough?
don't I don't think they took me very seriously the first day that I went in. Um, and I just think, yeah, they didn't take me very seriously. They didn't take, because I'm describing it to me, the pain felt like gas. It literally felt like a gas bubble, but it was like harsh. And I've never been in this situation. So I'm new to this to get to this point. So it was just not, taken seriously, I think. And then the next day, not even 24 hours, it was like I was back in. At that point, it was just too late.
Do you feel like throughout, like when you were through your loss and then after your loss, do you feel like you got good medical care then?
Um, yes, I had a good, I had a great OBGYN who, well, I'm with Kaiser out here in California. So our OBs, they rotate. You don't have a specific OBGYN. But the OB at the end was the one that I had literally just seen the week prior. And she was very supportive. Um, she came in and she talked to me. She's like, I'm so sorry, Vanessa. This is not where I thought we would be. I wasn't planning on seeing you for at least another 19 weeks. Um, I'm just so sorry. And she was very supportive. She held my hand. Um, they usually don't, at that time, COVID was really, up there. So they usually don't, they weren't letting really a lot of people wait with you in the room. But they made an exception for me. I had my cousin, who I'm very close with, who was my daughter's godmother. I had my mom, I had my husband, and all the nursing staff was there. And when it was time to finally push her out, I had the best support. The doctor, she was so emotional. She was crying. She was like, "You sure you don't want to hold her?" And I held her for a little bit, but then I just couldn't anymore. And um, my doctor was amazing. She cried. Um, she had to leave the room. She couldn't come back because she just was so distraught. And that made me feel good because she actually cared. She was compassionate and was feeling every emotion that I was feeling in that moment. So I felt good after I was admitted, and the nursing staff at delivery was amazing.
I think, so often you hear of the doctors who are not caring. So I think it's really great to hear of one who is caring and compassionate and, who cries with you.
Yeah, it was. I can still see the day in my head. I can still picture how everything went down, and I went to go for my 6 week checkup because I still had to do that. And I specifically requested her. I didn't want to see any other doctor. I wanted to see her. And we chatted for a while before we even did the physical exam. And she was just like, "I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry. Like, I'm going to keep telling you, I'm so sorry." Um, and I was just, it felt good. It felt good to have a doctor that was on your side and really wanted the best for you.
Yeah, so often, like I said too, that doctors just don't seem to care and they just don't take the time to sit there with you and talk with you. So I think it's amazing that you had such a great doctor on your side.
Yeah, that made the process a little bit easier.
Have you found any things that have helped you deal with your grief?
Yeah, I actually, the days after delivery, I was in a very bad place. But they told me that your milk is probably going to come in, and there's ways to stop it. You don't have to do it. Um, but I actually, you know, pumped and pumped my breast milk, and I actually donated it. I pumped for at least from November, I want to say, to like maybe March, April.
Wow.
Um, and I donated it to our local milk bank here in California. And then I actually was on vacation for Christmas, and I pumped and donated that milk as well. They sent me a box and a freezer, ice thing to put the breast milk in, and I donated that as well. And it was very helpful because it's like I'm able to help a family or families not have to experience the pain that I experienced because there's preemies, there's babies that, you know, desperately need the breast milk, and for whatever the reason may be, maybe their mom is not able to produce. So having the breast milk on hand is very helpful. So it helped me a lot. It made my daughter's life have meaning. Uh, it just made me have meaning and have her have a purpose. Like this was her purpose to help, and she helped a lot of babies. I actually was on our local news station out here. Um, they had featured me as one of their breast milk donors, and I just kept preaching that I could have stopped. I could have not donated it, but I just wanted, you know, I wanted to do something that's gonna honor my daughter, and I want her to look down and say, "That's my mom."
Mm-hmm.
She was very helpful, and she kept my memory alive. So that helped me a lot. Um, it really did.
I love that you did that. I mean, I know that that's not always an easy thing. I know after my loss, I just wanted it to dry up as quick as possible and go away because it was just, a painful reminder. So
Yeah,
I have a lot of, respect for what you did because it's just amazing.
thank you. It was hard at first, but knowing that it was going to a good cause and that a lot of people can benefit. I don't even know how many people I affected, how many families, but just knowing that that option was there meant the world.
So when did you decide to stop?
My milk had basically dried up.
Mm.
Um, so I was just like, I gave it until my birthday to do it, which was February. And at that point, I started to slow down, and I wanted to do it up until that point because that was her due date was around my birthday. So I wanted to, go all the way up until that point. And I went a little further because it was still there, but it wasn't as much as it was at first. So once it officially dried up, then I just donated my last bags, and that was it.
Were you pumping at night too, or just during the day?
I pumped during the day. I had pumped during the night, midday, because if when I first started, it was like they were like heavy and they hurt, and I just had to keep pumping, pumping, pumping. As the milk kind of gradually like weaned itself off, it was mainly just at night, a night pump. There was no more like 3 pumps a day. It was literally just maybe a pump at night, and that was it.
So it kind of like followed the course of if you were breastfeeding, and then it just
Yeah,
like weaned down.
yeah.
Were you able to get any keepsakes from the hospital?
Yes, they did. They gave me a memory box. It was purple. Um, I ended up giving it to my cousin at first because she was gonna do her her obituary because we did have a funeral service for her. So I gave her the box, and she looked inside. She was like, the pictures that the hospital took were not really good. So I'm gonna take those out away out from you. They're not good. I don't want you to look at them. And once she took that out, I opened the box. It took me a while to open it, I think. I don't think I didn't open it right away. Maybe about a month or so. I opened the box, and I saw the onesie that she had on, and her fingerprint, her footprint, and I'm not quite sure what else was in there. But I have not opened it since. Um, it's in a hallway closet, where a lot of her stuff that we had got for her is still sitting. But it it seemed very personal. They did a good job for what I can understand. I didn't see pictures of her until the actual funeral service. The mortuary did a good job. She looked really good, so I was happy about that.
I think it was nice too to have your cousin there to go through it first for you so that, she makes sure that you don't see anything that you wouldn't want to see.
Yeah, and to this day, she's been that way. All her pictures from the memorial service. My mom has pictures. She has it in her house of her granddaughter because that's still her granddaughter.
I love
Um, so yeah, I don't have any in my house right now. I'm just not there yet. It's like I go back and forth. Like one minute I want it up, and then the next minute I'm like, I don't know. I go back and forth. My husband wants her pictures up all over the house. Because he's, you know, it's a different kind of grief. My husband grieves, but it's a different grief. Like he compares it to you carried her, you birthed her. It's I can't even relate or understand that pain that you're going through. While I'm in pain, your pain is different than mine. So he's at a different level in his grief process where he wants pictures up of his daughter and he wants to put her ashes, on display. And I'm just not there. And he's respectful of it. He's okay with that. But in reality, he wants, her to have her moment and have us be able to honor that in our home. But I'm just not there. I don't know if I'm going to get there, but right now it's just, I can't.
I think it sounds like you guys are really open though with your communication with each other about what you need.
Yeah, it took a while because he would get frustrated with me at first. He's like, because I wouldn't even go in her closet that, where her ashes are and items in there that belong to her. I wouldn't go in there. I would have him go in there. He would get mad and like, you have to face it. You have to face it. And I'm like, I will. I will. It took us a while. Now he doesn't mention it as much. I actually went in the closet this past October. I have a really good friend who I met through infertility and unfortunately lost community. She lost her twins the year prior that I lost my daughter, the same way, same time frame. Um, and she's pregnant now with her rainbow baby girl. And she had a baby shower in New York. And I told her I was coming. She didn't believe it. I actually went and I gave her all of my daughter's clothes that was given to me and purchased for her. And I couldn't think of any other person to give it to because no one would understand like she would. And again, that's another way of grieving because I'm passing on something that I was holding so dear to my heart, but I knew that by giving it to her, she would appreciate it the most and would understand, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, because it's really hard when you have all that stuff because you don't want to just donate it somewhere or I mean, I know that sounds bad. It's like it's special, and giving it to someone who will fully appreciate it is important. It was important to me too. I didn't want to just give it to anybody.
Yeah, and that's how I felt. I didn't want to just give it to anyone. And when when we got to the shower and she opened it up, she was just like, and I told her ahead of time before the shower began so she can prepare herself. I didn't want her to just be completely shocked. Um, but she was very appreciative of it. And she was like, only sadly in our group, me and you know that pain. And I said, I know. And that's why I want you to have it. So I'm hoping that, by doing that, it helps her. Also, it helps me.
Yeah, I was kind of like you for a while, that I didn't want to go into the room where her stuff was, and I didn't want to face it. And
Yeah.
it's I had to make my husband go in there and like, can you just go put this in a box, please? Because I just can't do it.
Yeah, that was me. And that was me. Now I like I said, I went in there to get her stuff out to take it all the way to New York. But if I don't think if I didn't have to go in there, I don't think I would have. So
Was it hard going to the actual baby shower?
um yes and no. Yes, because I'm wishing that I could experience, you know, this type of situation. Because I was robbed of that. I didn't get it. But no, because she's had a hard road, and it's been very hard for her to get to this point. And sadly, like I said, I know her pain. Um, and she didn't just lose one; she lost two, um, a boy and a girl. So I know her pain. So being there was extremely, it was extremely emotional, but it was also good in the same sense because it's like I see that rainbows do happen. Like even through all the storm and all the sadness and all the loss and the grief, rainbows do happen. Now, this baby is not going to replace her twin. She's still going to grieve that loss. She's still going to be sad about that. But in this moment right now, seeing her the way she was, seeing her happy and content, that was good for my emotional well-being.
I feel like too that I have I mean, I guess I don't want to sound like mean towards people who who are enjoying their pregnancies, but I feel like I have a deeper happiness for those who have been through loss and infertility who get pregnant than just regular people who get pregnant.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I It's easier for me to see pregnancy announcements from my infertility warriors, IVF warriors, and people that have struggled to get to even a positive pregnancy test, to even get past the what they say scary zone in their pregnancy. It's easier to see them than to see a random person or someone I know that already has like 3 or 4 kids, and it's like, ugh, like I just want one,
Right.
and you are now with your fourth or fifth kid. So yeah, like you said, it's just harder to see non people that haven't been through the struggle than it is to see someone that's been there and has fought to just get one baby, let alone 3 or 4.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely right there with you. And I feel like too, they don't understand, if someone can easily get pregnant over and over again and just not have any complications, not have any loss, like I feel like they don't truly understand like how hard it is for some people to get pregnant.
Yeah. And it's just, I hate the, oh, just relax, just calm down, it'll happen, or just get super drunk and, have a crazy night, it'll happen. It's not, it's not that easy. Um, Going through fertility treatment, um, it's like, it's not easy. I mean, IVF is not an easy feat at all. It's mentally, physically, emotionally draining. Like it's a lot. I And not to mention, fertility treatments are not cheap. Like, there's not a lot of insurance coverage for it. A lot of it's out of pocket. So to not really understand all of those aspects of it and to make comments or to just be non-understanding can be a little rough.
Yeah, I've, that comment that people will sometimes like, well, just do IVF. I'm like, do you understand what IVF is? Like, I don't think people would choose to do that if they didn't have to.
I would not. It was like I felt like a test dummy. Really and truly is what we are. They're just throwing stuff at you to see if it'll work. Now, I'm grateful for my fertility doctor, my RE. She was amazing. Like, she threw everything at us. And we were able to, create life. Sadly, I wasn't able to hold on to the life. But now they're saying that if I want to try again, I would have to get a cerclage. They would have to sew me up and I would have to be on strict bed rest. And it's just goes back to the saying, it's not easy. It's not easy, carrying a normal pregnancy, let alone being high risk and waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah. And I think, especially being told that, I'm sure it makes it a lot scarier. I know you said, you guys are scared to try again. And I mean, it seems like, one of those things when everything is working against you.
Yeah. And we've talked about it. We've been going back and forth. Like, do we want to try again? My husband's like, I don't know, maybe, yeah. It's like, but I'm like, I'm getting old. I'm gonna be 38 next year. I just, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of factors to weigh. If it's something that we want to do again.
And I hate that too, that, that age is a factor. I mean, I'm 36, so I'm, close in age. And yeah, I don't like that, you get past 35 and you're suddenly geriatric and all that.
Yeah, that's what I was told. I felt so offended when
I know.
the first OB I saw was like, yeah, you're considered a geriatric pregnancy. And I'm just like, I'm 36. Like, I literally just turned 36. Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, well, after 35, you're considered geriatric. You have more complications. And I'm just like, ugh.
Like, can we use a different term or something?
Yeah, can we use a different term that doesn't make us feel like, ugh, like we're just.
I'm like, I'm not like 80 trying to have a baby.
Yeah,
that's what it made me feel like.
That's exactly how I felt. I just felt like, oh my God, like I'm a grandmother, because that's what you're saying.
Right.
And it's just like, it's so unfair that men, they're not considered geriatric. They can go off and just, and we are considered at that age to be high risk, older pregnancy. I'm just like, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way.
I was the same way. So I'm glad it wasn't just me. I'm like, am I just like getting offended unnecessarily? But no, I don't like that term.
No, I really don't. I wish they would have choose a different wording for it. There has to be.
So are there any particular aspects of loss besides just loss in general that you think need to be talked about more?
That there's no timetable for grief. Um, like people expect you to um be done with your grief. There's no timetable. It could be 6 years from now and I'm still sad. I still miss her. I I just want it to be known that you can grieve at your own pace. Grief is gonna always be there and the sadness will always be there. The only difference is you get a little bit easier. It gets easier to deal with. It doesn't hit you as hard as it would like the first year. That first year is hard. To me, the first year was extremely hard. I was like a mess. This year, I'm still a mess, but I'm able to function a little bit better. I'm able to feel okay. I'm not crying today as much as I did last year. I am just feeling a little bit more at ease. But I just want it to be known that you're at your own pace. No one can rush you, and no one should rush you. It it's like if you lose your child at infancy or you lose your child in adulthood, that pain is still there. There's just no timetable, and everyone is different. Everyone's grief pattern is different. Everyone's path is different, and we shouldn't judge or make comments like, it's time to move on, because that's just not how it is.
Yeah, definitely agree there. And like you said, people do think it's like that timeline that, okay, it's been a year, it's been this, so you should move on now. And it's like, are you really just telling me that I should move on from losing my child?
Yeah. And I've encountered a couple of people that have said that or have made comments in that direction. And it's not okay because until you're in it, until you're in that, my footsteps and in my place, you can't make comments. And I'm grateful that you're not, because I don't wish the pain and the hurt on anybody. I don't want anyone to be in these shoes. But be respectful and understand that, it's a process. It's a lifelong process.
Yeah, the grief is never going to go away, but we just kind of learn to live with it and kind of shape our lives around it. It's like, well, this is just part of us now.
Yeah, exactly.
So it sounds like you had overall a pretty supportive family. Would you say that you had a lot of support from family and friends?
Yeah. I would say that I have had a lot of support. In my first year, I want to say I had a lot more support from my family and friends. Um, this year, I've had, support um, from a few than how do I say it? I've had more support from people that I didn't expect to have the support from. And the people that I expected to get more support from kind of faded off in the background. And it's not until like I maybe mention her, or if I am just in a funk, then let's see how she's doing, or let's check in. I've had one of my good friends in general, these last few months has just been constantly checking on me and seeing how I was doing. And even though she's going through her own crazy situation with a lot of personal issues, she's been a rock, and I've appreciated that. Not to say that my other friends haven't. It's just, in a sense, I guess life goes on. So not as if it's malicious or like, mean. It's just life goes on. So if I'm seemingly okay on the physical outside and I'm not really showing that I'm not okay, then it's like, okay, we don't have to do as much. We don't have to check in as much because she's seemingly okay. But if you maybe sit down and talk with me, you would know that that's not 100%, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people do exactly like what you said, where they think we're okay. So they're like, oh, we don't need to check in. They're doing fine. And we're like, no, we're really not fine over here. If you actually took the time to ask, we're kind of struggling over here.
Yeah. And I I felt a little slighted a little bit. Um, October is, pregnancy and infant loss month. I never thought it would be a month that I would have to be a part of. Um, so last year I found this foundation that supports women and families through loss and honoring their children. So I did a walk in honor of her last year, and my really good friend, she lives in a different state, so she um, she donated virtually and she participated virtually, and I was very appreciative of that. Um, this year came as well. I was all set to go and walk for my daughter, and I asked, you know, all my friends, and mm, they never responded or told me yes or no, or they're unable to. My cousin did respond. She was going to be out of town that weekend, so she wasn't able to. Um, but I just felt a little slighted. I felt like unsupported in that moment. I I felt like I'm always that person and always that friend that's very supportive of all my family and friends and their different activities, their kids or whatnot. And to not feel that support was a little hurtful.
I can
I
definitely understand that.
Yeah, it felt hurtful. Like I wasn't able to go in person this year because my husband wasn't feeling well. He had just got out of the hospital. So I did it virtually and I listened to the ceremony and did all that virtually. But this is like the second year that I've just asked for one day and it's like cricket. But my friend that lives out of state, she virtually signed up and she listened virtually. And I was pretty upset for the week following, and but I let it go because I can't stay in that anger, and I just moved forward. But it was just it was just hurtful. I never expressed it because you know they don't understand it. They can never understand the significance of hearing your daughter's name and celebrating her in that way because they all have living children. Um, I'm the only one. I'm the youngest in the bunch, and they all have living children. So they can't never truly understand what events like this truly mean to me. So I couldn't stand that upsetness because maybe they just didn't understand. And that's how I look at it.
Did any of them even like pick up on it that you were upset?
No, I'm the only one. I No, actually, no. No one really picked up. I just vented to my husband, and he understood why I was upset, and but he's like, in a sense, you have to understand that you didn't express it to them really, your upsetness, and you didn't express the importance of it. Maybe they didn't get it. Maybe they didn't understand. And he's like, give them grace and let's just move forward. We were there to support our daughter. We heard her name. That's really all you wanted. So that was that.
I can definitely understand though. I mean, my feelings get hurt too when, when you just ask for one thing, it's just one day. It's not like you're asking for them to do something every day of the year. And it's like, is it really that hard for you to just do this one thing?
Yeah,
Or at least to answer and say, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm busy, but I'll donate or I'll do something.
yeah. And that's would have been fine if I would have just got a response, and but I didn't get a response. So, but I moved forward because I I used to be the person that just want to hold on to things, but since my loss, I've been trying to get better at just moving forward and not staying mad because it's just not worth it.
I'm definitely one of those people that hold on to stuff too. So I get it. I'm like, oh yes, let me just pull out my list of grudges here.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I definitely have been trying to work on that as well. Because you're right, it's not it hurts you to stay mad.
yeah. It doesn't. They go on with their day. So
It's like, yeah, they don't even know. They just go about their life like, oh, you're mad? I didn't even know. And you're over here like being mad.
right.
So is there any other advice that you would give to people who are going through infertility or loss?
Um, take your time. Just do some self care. It's not. There's no harm in putting yourself first in any situation because if you love yourself and you take care of yourself and you put yourself first, you know, it makes you feel better. Like it's nothing wrong with, sitting in your pajamas, being sad. I did that. I just stayed in my clothes, I stayed in my room. I didn't really, come out really. Um, I maybe got out with my cousin a couple times, only because my mom and my husband are like, you got to get out. You need to just get some fresh air. Just go out, be with the family for a little bit. Just get some fresh air. And I did it. But other than that, I literally just was in the house in pajamas and just laying there. And that's fine. But also take time for yourself.
I think that's definitely important advice. It's after going through loss, you kind of just want to not do anything. And I think it is important to do what you said and still take care of yourself.
Right.
So is there anything else that you would like to share or add?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story and, happy birthday to your son and to your daughter.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for sharing your story with us. I really resonate with the feeling of seeing a child the same age that your baby should be. Ask any lost mom, and they will know the age their baby should be. I have such a hard time seeing girls right now that are age 6, because that's the age that Jasmine should have been this year. It's hard because it serves as a visual reminder of all the things we're missing out on and all the things our children should be doing at this age. Honestly, I haven't found a way to make these feelings any better, except to go through periods of just completely avoiding children who are the same age. It's one of those tough situations that we face as lost parents that other people may not really understand. Just know that your feelings aren't wrong. Losing our babies was hard enough, but constantly being reminded of everything that we are missing out on is so incredibly hard too. It's okay to take a step back. It's okay to take yourself out of certain situations if you need to. Your mental health is so important. Please don't let anyone ever make you feel bad about taking care of your needs. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. If you like the show, please leave a review or rating on Apple or Spotify. It only takes a moment and really helps the show reach more loss and infertility families. Thank you so much for tuning in, and remember, we are all in this together.